Okay, now here's something that we knew since 2016. Apparently, video games do not cause misogyny. There is no misogyny that can be caused from playing video games. And I have a feeling that the people pushing for this moral panic knew about it themselves, but it was just a tool to get power. Think about it. If you're a person that knows nothing about video games, and you look at this rich industry, which is the video gaming industry, and you're saying, oh, you guys are misogynistic, you're horrible, your games are hurting women. And the industry goes, okay, well, what can we do to fix it? And you're like, put me in charge. Put my friends in charge. Give money to us to have consulting firms. We will help you remove misogyny. Just pay us money. Pay us cash. Put us in positions of power. That's what it is about. And once they're in the positions of power, they have to justify their salary. And then they're like, ooh, cover that booba. It looks icky. Can you desexualize this woman? It's going to cause misogyny if you don't. The representation of the female character in this game is problematic. Listen to me. This is why you pay me the big bucks. I'll tell you what to do. So I don't think that this study is going to change anything, right? Like, the conversation is already done. All of these ideologues have infested the gaming industry through HR, and it's very difficult to remove them now. Although, I gotta say, if I was at one of these gaming companies, what I would do is I would create an ESG department, like environmental social governance, and I would put all the woke people in that department. And then I would have to say, oh, because of low profit margins, we're downsizing the ESG department now. Now, if you happen to be a good developer, you can apply for a different position. We're going to prioritize your application. But if you don't have anything to bring on the table, then we're sorry. You know, we just don't make money anymore, which is true. Like, all these companies are losing money because of this. It used to be like you're a gaming company. What do people want to see? Like Star Trek. Okay, what do people want to see? They want to see the ships flying into space, sometimes throwing lasers at each other, and they also want to see a pretty woman when the ships aren't flying into space. Okay, that's what the customer wants. That's what the customer demands. But you have the ideologue says, no, you can't do that. You're going to cause misogyny. Like, women are going to suffer if you do that. Put me in charge. Give me money. I'll fix your show for you. I'll fix it so good that the ratings will never recover. So, let's see the research. We're following the science right now. Sexualization in video games does not appear to harm players. Notice how you have this bizarre standard now. Because again, like, all of this was a charade. Like, they didn't really believe in this. Because if they believed in this, they would go after Twitch streamers. Like, Twitch streamers nowadays are more sexualized than the boof babes used to be back in 2016 at E3. And no one says anything. Like, this is fine. So, what they are saying is that a sexualized, like an entire company that uses sexualized e-girls, that's not a problem. But if you make a video game with a sexualized character, oh my god, you're creating misogyny. Does anyone understand how that works? No? The findings indicate that playing video games does not lead to misogynistic views or determine mental health outcomes. My god, how did we know? Look, if the only way to know things is through the scientific institutions, how did I know this from 2016? Almost a half a decade before the researchers got the research. Female characters are often attractive and scantily clad in video games, although there appears to be a decline in this trend over time. If it wasn't for Japan, I would say that this trend doesn't exist today. Some people have raised concerns that the sexualized portrayals of women has negative effects on players, but research on the topic has produced mixed results. So this is from Professor Mathieu Guton, a PhD. My god, he looks like Arch Warhammer, doesn't he? Arch? Is this you? Is this your daddy? Computers and Human Behavior is a scholarly journal dedicated to examining the use of computers from a psychological perspective. Overall, the moral panic, which literally is a moral panic, I mean, it was pushed by the media. It wasn't women coming up and saying, look, all these video games, they're getting our boyfriends and our fathers and our husbands to act misogynistic. Can you guys do something about it? Like, it wasn't women that did this. It was the publications. So moral panic is when the publications, when the media decides to push for a controversial thing in order to get clicks. So this moral panic over video games and sexualization is pretty much following the paint by numbers pattern of the video games debate. Lots of hyperbole and moral outrage, but very little evidence that video games are causing any harm to either male or female players. As a purely public health issue, this doesn't appear to be much of a concern at all. That doesn't mean people can't advocate for better representation of females in games. You just need to be cautious not to make the claims of harm that can be easily debunked, thereby calling into question what might otherwise be a reasonable advocacy goals. Well, this is my point. When they say harm, I kept asking, like, name me the person. Who has been harmed by this? Like, when you talk about smoking, I can give you several family members of mine that had cancer or that got asthma or suffered from smoking. I can give you names of people, friends, acquaintances. I know, but like when you tell me like video games cause misogyny, like name me the person that used to be a pillar of the community, but then he played Tomb Raider and he became a misogynistic pig. Give me the name, because I can't think of a single case. The researchers also assessed the quality of the studies, examining factors such as pre-registration, standardized measures, independent ratings of video games content, and the use of control variables. So, now we have the research. I love the fact that I knew they knew that it's bullshit when Trump said that he wants to tackle violent video games. Do you guys remember that? It was at the White House. Like, he talked about Doom and a couple of other video games. Like, oh, these violent video games. And it was the progressives, like Polygon, Kotaku, all these progressive outlets that said, oh my God, like, Trump is an idiot. How dare he attack? This is what the right-wingers have been doing for... And I'm thinking, like, well, aren't you also saying that video games cause violence? No, we say that video games cause misogyny. Oh, I see, but like, isn't the problem, like, what is the problem with misogyny, right? The problem with misogyny is that it causes violence in real life, right? Like, misogynistic people are violent towards women. Isn't that what, right? Am I following the logic? So if we skip a step, if we, like you're still thinking that it leads to violence, but you have like another extra step. You go from step A to B to C. And Trump is just saying that it's A to C. So there you go. You know, like, the only thing is that now when people complain about it, I can just show them the study. But I don't think that it's going to do anything. I don't think it's going to change anything. I guess maybe some studios that want to have a pushback, like you may have studios that are fed up with the fact that it stifles their creativity. And they can say, look, we have a study. It says that there is no correlation. Like, we can have sexy women in our video games. There is no sexism caused by it. There are psychological studies now that show that this is not the case. Unless you can have something else, we're going to have a conversation. If not, fuck you. So maybe this can help some companies push back a little bit on the people that like to crack down on creative freedom. Let me know what you guys think, though. I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.